Hello, this is Alpha Bob. I was recently testing a new alpha character in null space when a couple of locals started to combat scan my ship. I will show you the technique I used to avoid getting killed. Here I'm using a noise 5 needle jack filament to jump into null space. This filament will send you to a quiet area of null space. To use this filament, I need to be in a fleet with myself. Another requirement is to have the safety settings set to partial safety. Now I can activate the filament from a bookmarked spot in space. Once you arrive in null space, it's time to check the local chat window for any players in the system. Depending on the number of players in the system will determine your next move. In this case, I am alone in this system. Since there is one cosmic signature, I decide to not make a bookmark just yet, but to send out my scanning probes to scan down this site. I click the Launch Pinpoint Formation button, which centers my probes on the Sun with the default range of 4 AU. I also have a filter to only show relic and data sites. Skipping ahead a bit, I have partially scanned down a data site, but now I need to move my probes closer to complete the scan. To move the probes closer together, hold the Control key down and use the mouse to drag the probe closer, almost forming a circle. Now I can use the Save Current Formation button to save this for later use. I save it as best. I can now see this is a level 4 data site, but I still need to adjust the center of the probes on the site. I zoom in and adjust the probes right on top of the site. One more scan should do it. To scan down level 4 data and relic sites, you need at least 72 points for your base sensor strength. I fly to the site and start hacking since there is still no one else in local. A few minutes later, as I am hacking, I notice a player appear in local. I turn on my micro-warp drive and fly straight up. If this player had previously scanned down this data site, he could fly directly to it and try to web my ship. As an alpha clone with no cloak, the next best defense is to be moving fast. If this player appears, my ship will be out of his range. I also save his name in my fleet chat and continue to descan. Now that I see he's in a capsule, I think pretty harmless, but another player appears, time to get suspicious. I check to see if they both belong to the same corporation. I also will check if they belong to the local corporation for the null space area. You will find that the locals will more often try to kill outsiders. Non-locals are usually other explorers or day trippers, and they usually won't kill you unless you do something stupid. I was about to log out for the night. When you come across locals, you should not use any of the gates, because they could easily have others waiting to web you. To be safe, you should use a filament to avoid them and move on to the next null area. But now I see a new player in local, and I decide to stay. As I check him out, I see a combat probe in space. They would very much like to kill me. For educational purposes, I will test out my fly fast technique. Combat scanner probes are used to scan down ships. Once they scan your ship, they will have the exact location at the point of their last scan. This is why moving fast works to your advantage. By the time the enemy ship flies to your location, you will be too far away for them to web you. This is about the most dangerous situation for an alpha player, since you cannot cloak up and wait out your filament 15-minute timer. Now if you can use a filament, this would be the time to get out of dodge. Again, I am staying here to see how close they can get to my ship. I make another bookmark in space, this one farther from any planets. I want them to have to fly further to catch me. Every extra second it takes them to reach my scanned location is further I will be away from that spot.
Warp drive active.
When you are being hunted, it's important to keep using your D-scan and don't stop moving. Start making several bookmarks spread across the system, and if the hunters find you, delete that bookmark and fly to another one. Now that I arrived at a bookmark, I fly up and turn on my micro-warp drive. I will continue to use the D-scan to see if the combat probes are getting closer to pinpoint my location. You can lower the range of your directional scanner to 5 AU to better sense when they are close. I am also watching for any incoming enemy ships. These guys are taking a long time to find me. Good hunters can scan you in 10 seconds. When you see a ship like this coming, you can fly to your next bookmark to be safe, but I'm here to play with them. I decide to drop them some of my loot. As you can see, he only got within 97 kilometers of my ship. He would need to be at least 20 kilometers away to have a chance to web my ship. I am relatively safe flying here for a while. My ship is faster, but it's best to fly to the next bookmark. If I stay here too long, there are ways for advanced hunters to catch me. One way is to use a celestial in front of me and warp to my location at a range of 100 kilometers, which would put them in front of my ship. This is why I fly up or down to avoid that possibility.
Warp drive active.
I now decide to warp off to my next bookmark, but I forgot to delete this current bookmark and fly to it. No harm. But I probably freaked out this guy. See my ship warp right at him. I will now warp to my next bookmark and repeat this process.
Warp drive active.
I make another bookmark for a later jump. X marks the spot. I have the habit of using the letter X for my temporary bookmarks. It would be better to use numbers, 1, 2, 3, so it would be easier to delete them as hunters track you. I now fly down with my micro-warp drive on. Now I wait for them to come again. I wonder if they will be faster this time. I get ready to drop some more loot for these guys. It is the least I can do. Our friend shows up again, now within 84 kilometers of my ship. Gotta do better, guys. Here's some loot for you all. I now notice there is a warp disrupt probe on D-scan, commonly known as a bubble. This bubble could be at one of the gates or at my last bookmark, the one I forgot to delete. They are now getting serious about killing me. I will now leave them alone. Since I shouldn't use the gates, my two choices are to use another filament to warp away, or just log out. When you find a good area of null, you can always log out, so then you can return another day for more hacking.